Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has hit back at the opposition leader, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, for what he says is her attempt to have this country sanctioned for her own political gain. Dr. Rowley was responding to Mrs. Persad-Bissessar, who earlier called on Dr. Rowley to come clean on his meeting with Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodrigues 2 months ago. At a press conference held at the office of the opposition leader on Friday, Mrs. Persad-Bissessar said she has in her possession documents sent by a concerned member of the public listing the names of persons who accompanied the Venezuelan Vice President on her visit to Trinidad on March 27th. She claimed that energy officials were also part of the Vice President's delegation who met with Prime Minister Rowley. The leader of the opposition said she has reason to believe the visit was not COVID-19 related and wants to know the nature of the meeting.
That flight, the passenger manifest also shows one Vincent Santana Migliacion, Vice President of PDVSA Gas. If this is true, I don't see what they came to talk about COVID. These are people out of the petroleum company of Venezuela, the President and the Vice President.
Said the Prime Minister owes the citizens an explanation on what she described as a crucial matter.
It may be that it may deserve a police investigation, but I think it goes beyond just matters in our domestic purview. There are also serious matters with serious international implications.
But Dr. Rowley held a news conference in the Parliament chamber this afternoon and said the opposition leader was a traitor. Ian WASON has the story.
And because a plane that brought the Vice President here has an American sanction that we didn't know about, you are going to call for sanction on people of Trinidad and Tobago? You are a traitor, lady.
The Prime Minister accused the opposition leader of seeking to have this country sanctioned for her own political aspirations and is desperate as the general elections are due later this year. He explained that many heads of state have visited this country before, but the government doesn't usually ask about flight information.
If it turns out that the aircraft that the Venezuelan delegation came on is an aircraft that was identified by the United States, that was unknown to us. Because we do not normally ask the presidential delegation what aircraft you're coming on, who owns the aircraft, and so on and so on.
He said the Vice President of Venezuela was appointed by her government to head a COVID-19 task force, and no one from the Venezuelan delegation was introduced as an official of PDVSA. The Prime Minister reiterated the government's position on Venezuela is that of CARICOM's, in that the region recognizes the Maduro government.
And what the UNC is trying to do is to stir that pot, to upset the United States, hoping that they take deleterious action against Trinidad and Tobago. That, to me, is not just a fifth columnist. That is an underminer that is dangerous to everybody in Trinidad and Tobago.
Dr. Rowley is asking who the opposition leader is actually working for, as her actions cannot be for the good of the country, and describes her as a popular Hollywood character.
And it's gone beyond the diary of a mad, failed politician. Yeah. You know, Madia is not in the parliament. But the threat is there. If I had contact with the producer, I would call him and tell him we have a Madia here for him.
He said the relations between this country and the U.S. are strong. Ian WASON, TTT News.
Speaker of the House, BRIGID ANNISETTE-GEORGE, says the behavior of MP for Oropouche East, Dr. Rudal Munilal, was egregious, intolerable, and beneath the dignity of the House of Representatives. And brought the House into odium and disrepute, as well as lowered its authority. Before today's sitting of the lower house, the Speaker read the Riot Act to Dr. Munilal for his social media complaints and the letter he penned to the U.S. Ambassador Joseph Mandalo on his inability to raise a matter of definite, urgent public importance. In April, Dr. Munilal raised as a definite matter of urgent public importance the use of infrastructural capacity in the energy sector to facilitate an illegal trade of fuel to Venezuela. However, the Speaker was not satisfied that the matter qualified under the standing order. As she explained which matters would qualify under the standing orders, she said it was clear that some members had difficulty in grasping the meaning of the term definite.
Mere allegations cannot constitute a definite matter. Indeed, the requirement that the matter must be definite is logically the first and most critical hurdle. I am sure that all honorable members would agree that it is irrational to expect the House to adjourn its scheduled business to debate a matter yet to be confirmed and about which there is only mere speculation.
On April 28th, the Arabuji Stampy wrote to Ambassador Mandelo and included a copy of proceedings from a Hansard, as well as a copy of a Reuters World News story published on April 26th. Speaker ANNISETTE-GEORGE reminded that her rulings are neither uninformed, capricious, or impulsive.
The conduct and statements of the member for Oropouche East are tantamount to contempt. Honorable members, any member who feels aggrieved by a ruling from this chair can draw his or her concerns to the attention of the chair or even to the attention of the House itself. The member for Oropouche East undoubtedly knows the right way to seek redress